The feed vessel is here, and it goes through this peristaltic pump, and it actually then flows to a heat exchanger down below here, where the product from the reboiler, the bottom product, is exchanging its heat with the feed so that we can preheat our feed somewhat. So we need to get the feed rate going at 30 mils a minute. In order to do that, you're going to have to calibrate the RPM setting on the computer software to 30 mils per minute. So here is our feed tank and the peristaltic pump. This flows out of the pump then to this tubing. If this valve is pointing this way, it goes to the column by way of the heat exchanger. In order to calibrate the feed pump, we're going to turn it this way out, and the feed will then drop out of this tube and into the buckets below. You can then intercept that flow with a graduated cylinder and stopwatch and see what the flow rate of the peristaltic pump is as a function of RPM. The RPM for the feed pump is set here on the diagram, and I'm going to put in, let's say, 25 RPM. When you're ready to feed, you turn the feed on here with the red button, and you set the RPM on the computer. Once you have the RPM set on the computer, alcohol should start flowing out of this calibration tubing, and you have a graduated cylinder and stopwatch for determining the flow rate as a function of RPM. You don't need a standard curve so much as determine at what RPM you get 30 mils per minute, as this is the flow rate we run at generally. Once you are finished with the calibration curve, be sure and turn your three-way valve back into the system by pointing up, and you can turn the feed pump off at the red button until you're ready for feeding. Anytime you don't need the feed or reflux, you can just turn them off quickly here at the control panel.